He was the pride of his parents, their only son, full of dreams and promises. But one day he left. No goodbye. No reason. Just silence. Years passed. Pain grew. And then one knock at the door changed everything. This is not just a story. This is your story, my story, the story of every parent who waits and every child who forgets. Stay with me as we begin. The son who left. The son who left a quiet home. Rashid lived in a small town in Pakistan, surrounded by green fields and dusty roads. He was a kind man in his late 60s with tired eyes and slow steps. His house was quiet, too quiet, ever since his son, Amir, left home 5 years ago. Rashid had only one son. After his wife passed away from illness, Amir became his whole world. He worked hard in the fields, saved every rupee, and even sold a piece of land to send Amir to the city for college. Make a better life, Rashid had said, placing his rough hand on his son's shoulder. Make me proud. And Amir did. For a while. He studied hard, got good grades, and even got a job in Karachi after graduation. Rashid was proud. The neighbors praised him. Your son is a star, they said. Rashid smiled, but deep inside, he missed his boy every day. At first, Amir used to call once a week. He would talk about work, the busy city, and his dreams. Rashid listened quietly, sometimes not understanding everything, but happy just to hear his son's voice. But slowly the calls stopped. First weekly, then monthly. Then nothing. Rashid waited by the phone every Sunday. He would wake up early, shave, wear his clean white kurta, and sit on the old wooden chair next to the telephone, hoping it would ring. It didn't. He asked neighbors for help. Can you check on my son's Facebook? He once asked a schoolteacher. But Amir had deleted all his social media. No updates. No photos. No signs of life. He must be busy, people said. Young men forget sometimes. But Rashid didn't forget. Every evening, he cooked 2 rotis, placed 2 plates on the floor mat, and waited. No one came. The pain of waiting became part of his daily life. He stopped visiting friends. He stopped going to the market. Even Eid became just another day. No laughter. No phone calls. Just silence. One evening, his neighbor Farida, a widow like him, knocked on his door. Rashid Bhai, please come have dinner with us. I'm okay, he said politely. No, you're not, she replied softly. You need people. But Rashid only looked at the old photo on his wall, a young Amir, smiling beside his mother. That night, Rashid sat on the rooftop, looking at the stars. He whispered a prayer into the wind. Ya Allah, is he safe? Is he happy? Has he forgotten me? The stars didn't answer. Underscore 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 underscore. One rainy morning, Rashid was buying milk from the corner shop when he overheard 2 young boys talking. Did you see that viral video? That businessman from Karachi shouting at the poor driver? It's everywhere. What's his name? The other asked. Amir Rashid. Rich guy now. Rashid froze. His heart beat fast. His ears buzzed. Amir. Rashid. It couldn't be. Could it? He rushed home. His hands shook as he knocked on Farida's door. Farida, can I borrow your phone? I need internet. Please. She nodded, surprised. Together, they searched on YouTube. They typed Karachi businessman shouting at driver. There it was. A man in a suit, standing outside a black car, yelling at a driver. His face was older. His beard trimmed. His voice sharp. But it was Amir. His Amir. Rashid watched the video again and again. He didn't care about the shouting. He didn't care about the comments or the hate. His son was alive. He was okay. But why had he changed? That night, Rashid sat quietly on the floor. The photo of young Amir still smiled from the wall, but the man in the video, he was different. What happened to the boy who cried when his mother died? What happened to the young man who hugged his father before leaving for college? Rashid didn't sleep that night. He just kept whispering the same question. Why, Amir? Why did you leave? Rashid could not sleep the whole night. His eyes were open, staring at the ceiling, but his heart was lost in the past. The video of Amir kept playing in his mind. He had grown taller, more confident, but his face looked hard, like he had forgotten how to smile. Rashid remembered the last time Amir visited home. It was 5 years ago. The visit was short, only 2 days. At that time, Rashid didn't complain. He was just happy to see his son. They had sat on the rooftop drinking tea, talking about life. Amir had dreams: to start a business, to buy a car, to live in a big house. Rashid had smiled, proud of his ambition. But he never imagined that chasing those dreams would take his son so far away. Not in distance, but in heart. The next morning, Rashid took out an old wooden box from under his bed. Inside were letters, drawings, and childhood photos. He picked up a picture of Amir as a boy, maybe 5 years old, holding a small kite. His face was full of joy. "That's the son I raised," Rashid whispered. "Where did he go?" Later that day, Rashid went to the nearby internet cafe. He paid the young boy at the counter to search for more videos or news about Amir. They found an article. Young entrepreneur builds successful logistics company in Karachi, Amir Rashid. Rashid's heart was full of mixed emotions. His son had succeeded. He was someone important now. But in all the success, there was no mention of family. No mention of a father who raised him alone. Rashid wanted to write to him, but he didn't have an address or a phone number. He didn't even know if Amir would read his message. Still, he asked Farida to help him write a simple email. She typed as he spoke. Subject: from Baba. Dear Amir, I saw you in a video. You look strong. I'm happy to know you are doing well. I don't want anything from you. Just a call would mean the world to me. I miss you, my son. Always. Your Baba. Rashid Ahmed. They sent the email to the address listed on Amir's company website. Then Rashid waited. A day passed. Then another. No reply. His heart sank a little deeper. The village had started talking. People who had seen the video came to him, some with praise, others with gossip. Your son is famous now, one said. He's forgotten his roots, another added. Rashid kept silent. He didn't want to speak ill of his only son. Deep inside, he believed Amir would return. A father's heart, no matter how broken, never stops hoping. That evening, Rashid sat outside, watching children fly kites. One boy ran past him, laughing loudly. The sound reminded him of Amir's laughter as a child. So pure, so full of life. He closed his eyes and smiled sadly. Those days felt like another lifetime. Farida came and sat beside him. She brought 2 cups of tea, as she often did now. You're not eating properly, Rashid Bhai, she said softly. I'm fine, he replied, not looking at her. You're not, she said gently. But it's okay to not be fine. You're a father. He nodded slowly. It hurts, he finally said. Not because he became rich, but because he forgot me. Farida didn't say anything. She just placed her hand on his and sat in silence with him. That night, Rashid dreamed of Amir. He was a small boy again, running into the house with a scraped knee. Rashid had picked him up, cleaned the wound, and kissed his forehead. In the dream, Amir looked up and said, Baba, I will never leave you. Rashid woke up with tears in his eyes. Changed in him. The pain had grown quieter, like an old wound that no longer bled but still ached. One afternoon, as he was returning from the mosque, a young man in a suit stepped out of a shiny black car near the village entrance. People gathered around, curious. Rashid didn't look up at first. He thought it was a government official or a businessman. But then he heard a voice. Baba. He froze. His hands began to shake. He turned slowly. And there, standing in front of him, was Amir. Older. Thinner. Eyes tired. Face full of guilt. Rashid stared for a long moment, not believing his eyes. Baba, Amir said again, stepping forward. Rashid took a step back. His lips trembled. Why now? He whispered. Amir didn't answer. He dropped to his knees on the dusty road, in front of the whole village, and said softly, Forgive me. Rashid's heart broke all over again. Amir knelt on the ground, his eyes filled with tears. His expensive clothes were getting dusty, but he didn't care. The weight of 5 years away from his father was too heavy to carry any longer. Rashid stood still. His heart was beating fast. He wanted to run to his son, to hold him tight and cry on his shoulder. But something inside stopped him. Pain. Anger. Silence. You left, Rashid whispered. You left without a word. Amir looked up slowly. I know, Baba. I was wrong. People from the village stood around them. Some watched in silence. Others whispered. But Rashid didn't notice anyone. His world was just him and Amir, like it used to be. I didn't know how to come back, Amir continued. I thought you wouldn't forgive me. I thought I had gone too far. You didn't call, Rashid said, his voice cracking. Even when I needed you the most. I'm sorry, Amir said, lowering his head. I was lost, Baba. The city changed me. I became someone I didn't like. Rashid closed his eyes. The pain of waiting, the years of silence, the nights spent alone, it all came rushing back. But in front of him now was not a proud businessman. It was his son, the same boy he had raised with love and sacrifice. "Get up," Rashid said softly. Amir stood slowly, still unsure if he was forgiven. Rashid looked into his son's eyes. "Come home." Tears rolled down Amir's face. He nodded, and for the first time in years, they walked side by side toward the small house. The same house Amir had grown up in. Inside, everything was the same. The walls were plain, the furniture old. The photo of young Amir still hung on the wall. Amir touched it gently, his hand shaking. "You kept everything the same," he said. "I kept it all," Rashid replied. "Even your books. Even your cricket bat." Amir looked around the small room, his chest heavy with emotion. "I didn't know how much I had left behind," he said quietly. Rashid sat on the floor and poured 2 cups of tea, just like he used to. As they sipped in silence, Amir finally spoke. "I lost myself, Baba. When I got that job, I felt powerful. I made money. I made friends who only cared about status. I wanted more. I wanted to prove myself." "You did," Rashid said. "You became someone important. But you forgot where you came from." Amir nodded slowly. "I didn't call because I was ashamed. Ashamed of how far I had gone. Then one day, I saw a child on the street selling flowers. He reminded me of myself. Hungry, dirty, alone. And I thought of you." Rashid listened without speaking. "I realized how selfish I had been," Amir continued. "All your sacrifices, and I repaid you with silence." Rashid took a deep breath. "I prayed for you every night. Even when you forgot me." Amir wiped his eyes. "I saw the video online. People called me a bad man. And maybe I was. But that video brought me back to you." That evening, father and son sat together for hours. They talked about everything, about the past, the future, the pain, and the hope. As the sun set, Rashid asked gently, "Why didn't you marry?" Amir smiled faintly. "I didn't want to build a family while mine was broken." Rashid placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then start again, my son. Start with me." For the next few days, Amir stayed in the village. He visited old friends, apologized to neighbors, and even prayed in the mosque with his father. The villagers slowly welcomed him back. One afternoon, Amir and Rashid walked to the fields where Rashid used to work. The land was dry now, but the memories were fresh. "You worked so hard here," Amir said, looking around. "For you," Rashid replied. "Everything I did was for you." Amir nodded. "And I forgot that." "Not anymore," Rashid said with a smile. Amir looked at his father. "I want to help now, Baba. Not with money, but with my time. I want to be here." Rashid's eyes filled with tears. "That's all I ever wanted." That night, Rashid slept peacefully, for the first time in years. The silence in the house had changed. It was no longer empty. It was calm. The next morning, Rashid woke up early to find breakfast already made. Amir stood in the kitchen, wearing an apron and trying to cook eggs. "You never cooked before," Rashid laughed. "I'm learning," Amir said, laughing too. "Just like I'm learning how to be a son again." The smell of breakfast filled the small house as Amir placed 2 plates on the floor mat. Rashid sat down, smiling. He hadn't seen this side of Amir in many years, soft, caring, present. The eggs were half-burnt, the roti was a little hard, but it was the best meal Rashid had tasted in years. "You've forgotten how to cook," Rashid teased. "I never learned," Amir laughed. "But I'm trying." They ate together, slowly, without saying much. Sometimes silence between loved ones speaks louder than words. After breakfast, Amir helped his father clean the house. He swept the floor, washed the dishes, and even fixed a broken window. Rashid watched him with quiet pride. It was like watching the same little boy who used to help carry water from the well. Later, they walked to the town market. As they passed through the narrow streets, people noticed them. "Look, Rashid's son has returned. Maybe now the old man won't be so alone." Some people smiled. Others just stared. Amir kept his head down, feeling a mix of shame and peace. An old man approached them. It was Mr. Qasim, a friend of Rashid's from the mosque. "Amir Beta," he said, patting his shoulder. "You've come back. That's what matters." Amir looked him in the eyes. "I was lost, Cha-Cha. But I've come to find my way again." Rashid's chest swelled with emotion. Hearing his son say those words was like healing a deep wound. Back home, Amir sat with his father in the courtyard under the neem tree. The breeze was light, the leaves whispered, and the sun painted soft shadows on the ground. "Baba," Amir began, Do you ever regret not leaving this village? Rashid thought for a moment. No, he said calmly. My world was your mother and you. I had everything I needed. But you could have lived in the city. You were smart. Rashid smiled. Smart doesn't always mean leaving. Sometimes it means staying and keeping the family strong. Amir nodded slowly. I didn't understand that. I thought success meant cars, clothes, money. It's not wrong to want those things, Rashid said gently. But never forget the ones who helped you reach them. Amir looked down. I did forget. I forgot you. Rashid reached over and held his hand. And I forgave you the moment I saw you kneel in front of me. Tears welled up in Amir's eyes. I don't deserve that. You do, Rashid said firmly. Because you came back. That evening, Amir asked if he could go to his mother's grave. Rashid nodded. They walked together to the small graveyard at the edge of the village. It was quiet, with rows of simple tombstones under the open sky. They found her grave under a tree. The writing on the stone was fading, but the name was clear, Zahida Bibi. Loving wife and mother. Amir knelt beside it, placing fresh flowers on the soil. I'm sorry, Ami, he whispered. I left Baba alone. I left our home. I thought I was chasing success, but I lost myself. Please forgive me. Rashid stood behind him, his eyes moist. She would have been proud of you. Not for your business, but for coming back. Amir wiped his eyes. I will never leave again. They stayed there until the sun began to set. On their way back, Amir made a promise. Baba, I want to use what I've learned in the city to help this village. To build something here. A school. A clinic. A place for others to grow. Rashid looked at him with surprise. You really mean it? Yes. I want to give back. I don't just want to be your son again. I want to be a man you can be proud of. Rashid smiled. You already are. Over the next few weeks, Amir stayed in the village. He talked to local officials, met with teachers, and started working on plans to build a learning center. The villagers were excited, but more than that, they were proud. Rashid was no longer just the lonely old man. He was the father of Amir, the son who returned, not with pride, but with purpose. At night, Rashid would sit on the rooftop and look at the stars again. But this time, his prayers were different. Not for his son to return, but for his son to stay strong, to stay kind, and to never forget again. Amir often joined him up there. They would talk, laugh, and sometimes just sit in silence. Baba, Amir said one night, I used to look at these stars from my apartment in Karachi and wonder if you were looking at them too. I was, Rashid said. Every night. They both looked up. And in that moment, under the same sky that once felt full of distance, they found peace. Here is the final part 5, of your emotional and realistic story, The Son Who Left, written in simple English and structured in heartfelt paragraphs for your English Stories YouTube channel. Underscore 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 underscore. The Son Who Left Part 5, Home Again. Weeks turned into months, and Amir's presence in the village became normal again. The people who once doubted him now greeted him with warmth. Children waved when he passed. Elders nodded with quiet respect. Even the shopkeepers smiled when he entered. But no one was happier than Rashid. Every day, Amir helped his father with small things, fixing the garden wall, painting the front door, walking to the mosque together. They shared jokes, old stories, and sometimes just quiet moments. The wounds of the past were healing, slowly but surely. Amir kept his promise. He used his savings to build a small learning center in the village. It wasn't big, but it had clean classrooms, books, computers, and teachers who cared. He named it Zahida Learning Center, after his mother. On the opening day, the entire village gathered. Children sang songs. Parents clapped with pride. And Rashid, dressed in a clean white kurta, stood beside his son, tears in his eyes. When Amir gave a short speech, his voice cracked with emotion. This village gave me everything. A father who never gave up on me. A mother whose love still guides me. I left once, but I will never leave again. This is my home. The applause that followed wasn't just for the center. It was for Amir. For his return. For his change. That evening, Rashid and Amir sat once again on the rooftop. The sky was painted with orange and purple as the sun disappeared behind the fields. You've done a lot, Rashid said. But you don't have to stay forever. You have your life. Amir shook his head. This is my life now, Baba. I'll go to the city when needed, but this is where I belong. Rashid smiled. You've become a better man than I ever imagined. I had a good teacher, Amir replied, looking at his father with love. In the following months, Amir continued his work between the village and the city. But he always returned home. Every Friday, he sat with his father for tea. Every Eid, they celebrated together. And every night, if he was in the village, he joined Rashid on the rooftop to look at the stars. One day, as they walked back from the mosque, Amir told Rashid something special. Baba, I met someone. Rashid raised an eyebrow. A girl? Amir laughed. Yes. Her name is Sana. She's a teacher at the center. And? Rashid asked with a smile. I want you to meet her, Amir said. If you like her, I'll ask for her hand. That evening, Rashid met Sana. She was kind, respectful, and spoke with a soft voice. She served tea, sat humbly, and listened when Rashid shared stories of the past. After she left, Rashid looked at Amir and nodded. She's the kind of woman who will stand beside you, not behind you. Amir smiled. Then I'll talk to her parents. Months later, the wedding took place in the village. It was simple, beautiful, and full of love. The entire community came together. The sound of laughter and music filled the streets. Rashid sat in the front row, dressed in a new shalwar kameez, proud and emotional. As Amir and Sana took their vows, Rashid whispered a prayer, thanking Allah for bringing his son back. Not just to him, but to himself. Years passed, but the story of the son who left became something different in the village. It was no longer a sad tale of abandonment. It became a story of hope, of change, of forgiveness. Children at the learning center would point to Amir and say, "That's our sir. He left the city to teach us." And Rashid? He was no longer the lonely man sitting by the phone. He was now the wise elder whose son returned, who built something better, and who showed the power of love, even after years of silence. One evening, as Rashid grew older and slower, he sat with his grandson, Amir and Sana's first child. "Dada, tell me again," the boy said. "Why did Papa leave?" Rashid chuckled softly. He thought the city had everything he needed. But he forgot that the most important thing in life is family. "And he came back?" "Yes," Rashid smiled, pulling the boy closer. "He came back. And that made all the difference." As the boy drifted to sleep, Rashid looked at the stars once more. There were no more prayers of longing, only gratitude, because the son who left had finally come home.